Someone says, "Nice to meet you. What do you do?" And you never saw it coming. Then one day, the usual answer to that question stops you. You question your usual answer. Is it still your identity? Does it still define you and your purpose? So now what? 5 years ago, after 41 years in the full-time practice of law, I stepped away, only to face a brand new problem. What should I do with the rest of my life? I sought the answer by using the same system I had employed over my career, and I found the answer. Serve my generation, people over 50, nearing or in retirement, dismissed by others deserving better. Each week, I'll walk you through the method I use to solve problems you may be facing now over health, finances, isolation, family, and even cognitive decline. So you not only walk away with a solution, but a solutions framework for your future. For most of your adult life, you had an answer at the ready. I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a manager at such and such a company. One word both announced you and defined you. It contained your life purpose. And now, after 50, after retirement, or a stall in your career, or at that moment when you first sensed changes you didn't anticipate creeping up on you, that one-word description doesn't quite carry it all anymore. And for the first time, your identity and purpose raise questions you haven't had to ask yourself in years. Who and what am I? You may feel it the moment someone asks, "So what do you do?" And as you open your mouth, you hesitate. What do I say now? What do I call myself? Am I just retired? You need an answer, something you can be proud of, and it's worth thinking about. Now, consider everything you've done in your life and everything you're still doing. Is there really just one thing? Does one word really do it anymore? Look over your life and ask not, who do I say I am, or what do I say I do? You said that same old answer 1,000 times. It used to just roll off your tongue. It's not that it doesn't fit anymore. You need a new one. That's the wrong question. You've gone well past the point where a glib response carries the load. Now is the time to assess, reconsider, and take stock of your life, your wisdom, and your accomplishments. In fact, one day after retirement, you may even start wondering if you stepped away too early. Did you do enough before you retired? Is having nothing to do really a goal to begin with? In fact, you may feel that you still have more to offer. You may be wondering whether you should still be working. Pondering such questions is like a trickle of ice water down the spine. Each triggers the same discovery. A one-word answer doesn't fit anymore. So what does fit? In your 50s, you've achieved a lot. Your kids are grown or getting there, and the job you held without even realizing it, parent, mentor, disciplinarian, emotional support system, that job is winding down. You're not doing it every day anymore, but it didn't just disappear. It's now incorporated into who you are. Your patience, your judgment, your sense of what matters, all of that was forged raising those kids. And that doesn't go away. Now, some people can't let it go, so they try to run their grandchildren the way they ran their own kids. And the realization that this is not your job anymore may contribute to the feeling that you've lost your purpose. But it shouldn't. Your wisdom is a resource now, not an instruction manual. And that resource comes with a new skill to master: learning to step back. Now, by your 60s, you're solidly in the grandparent era. You may be even eyeing retirement or already there. Here's the thing. Here's the thing nobody tells you about. The one-word description you used all those years starts losing its grip long before the job does. You start living for the parts of life that never had a job title attached to them at all. Take me. I stepped away from a full-time practice of law. I still hold my law license. I still help people solve problems. I'm doing that with you right now. So what do I say when someone asks what I do? Retired doesn't cover it. Lawyer doesn't either anymore. So here's the truth. No one word ever covered it. Did it tell people that you're a gardener? Did it tell anyone that you also build your own equipment sheds? That you play pickleball? That you once climbed a mountain? That you raised 3 kids who turned out fine? Of course not. You knew that. You just figured you'd fill people in later if the relationship ever got there. And Dumping it all on someone in a handshake would have sounded odd, bragging. And trying to create one word that says it all is now a wasted pursuit. I tried telling people I was retired, but then when they saw all I was doing, they were puzzled. Why? Because to me, retirement doesn't mean I stopped working. It means when I get up, I decide freely what to do with the day that God has given me. I have no docket, no boss, no clock. If what I choose to do that day still looks like work that I've always done, well, that still counts. That's my definition, and it's mine to make. It's yours to make. That's the freedom this age brings. You get to redefine yourself if you choose. That's the stretch you're in right now, whatever decade of it you're standing in. Maybe you're still paying tuition with one hand and managing an aging parent's doctor visits with the other. Maybe a bad knee or a bad hip just joined the conversation. You're in transition. And if you're still hanging on to the one old word that used to answer everything, here's what it's actually costing you. It's not just that the word stopped working. It's this. Chasing a new one-word answer keeps you pigeonholed. And staying pigeonholed too long is what robs you of something you used to have without even trying. The quiet confidence of knowing exactly what you were every time you said it out loud. So if the question isn't, well, what's my new one-word answer? What is it? The real question is whether you enter this stage with your eyes open to what's ahead, using the tools you already have, or whether you keep gripping an identity that never described all of you in the first place. Failing to see the bridges out ahead and pressing on at highway speed in a rainstorm anyway, that's not how you want to approach life after 50. You've got an education, decades of experience in your career. You learn to manage your own mind, your own emotions, and to read the world well enough to guide your kids through it. There are two things you haven't faced yet: your own aging and your parents. Those two will throw everyone for a loop. Now, retirement sounds great until you're in it and your kids stop asking for your advice, or worse, they ask and you can tell right away that it doesn't fit their worldview anymore. Or at family gatherings, you get polite attention, but you're not in the current of the conversation the way you used to be. You don't quite relate, so you tell the same old stories. Attention walks away and into a more current conversation. If you enter this era of life and wait until all of these things arrive before you deal with it, you lose the advantage of preparing for it. So do it now. If you're over 50, you need a boost of confidence, and you need to know who you are more clearly than you ever have before. Chasing one word to sum it up ignores everything you've become since you first picked that word. Take stock. Look at the mistakes. They're some of your most valuable lessons. Look at everything you navigated: work, marriage, raising kids, money, the world falling apart and getting put back together more than once. Give yourself credit for what all of that is actually worth. You don't have to force any of it onto anybody. You don't have to fit all of it into one small container. The real question at this stage isn't, what do I say when someone asks what I do? The real question is, will I keep representing myself by something I once was, or do I take stock of who I actually am and everything I know? Every piece of that experience has value to someone else. And that's not a small thing. That's the start of a new quest, if you want it. You don't have to stay in the rut, and you're not standing at a finish line. That's a lot further out than you think. At 50, at the top of your career, you haven't finished becoming everything you're capable of. At 60, in retirement, your life isn't over just because your calendar's suddenly empty. Sit with what you've already built. Set a new goal if you want one. It doesn't have to be a new job or a new business. It can simply be figuring out how to share what you know with someone who needs it. Do that, and you walk into this next phase of life with real confidence, knowing exactly who you are and exactly what you're capable of. And that confidence becomes your purpose. which becomes, once again, what you do. Only this time, people won't have to ask. They'll see it for themselves. If this helped you see your own situation a little bit differently, I'd ask you to do two things. Subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. And if you haven't already, check out Start Here, where I share more about why I started this show in the first place. Next week, we'll tackle another problem people over 50 are quietly carrying all alone, and we'll work our way through it again. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.